Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the East Coast Rams podcast. I'm your co-host Ashton here with my awesome co-host Zach, and the Saints go marching on to a L. The Rams get a very big win against the Saints at home, moving to a nice 6-2 record. Got to keep the wins coming, Zach, because the rest of the division is doing a lot of winning. Both Seahawks and 49ers came away with wins this week. Also, and the Cardinals are playing right now. If you guys are watching live, please like and subscribe and comment down below in the live chat. You can talk to us there and tell us what was your favorite part of this game and what was your least favorite part of this game. And I'm assuming, Zach, that's going to be the same for a lot of people.
We will discuss that. We'll discuss that elephant in the room.
Yes, like a pro podcaster. That was a good tease by me. How are you doing, Zach? How are you feeling? You nice to get some football after the bye week.
Yeah, and it was good football. It was good football for the Rams fans, I guess. Rams fans aren't used to having the luxury of kind of a kickback game. Usually we're always in it to the very end, but this one really was a laid back kind of. The Rams moved the ball efficiently. They did well on defensively. And yeah, I'm very pleased with how both the offense and defense have played. They did Matthew Stafford is playing at his MVP level. Puka Nacua came back after a short stint of being out and dominated again. And again, the defense stood up. Other players stood up. It was great.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It was a amazing game from a lot of different standpoints to see Puka in the lineup with this kind of slight adjustment. And we've seen this with the offense, and we can go into it in a little bit more detail. But just the way we have been manipulating personnel, 12 and 13 personnel, and doing a lot of the motions and the way we do blocks and different routes off of those motions. It's such a creative offense, and you don't know where the ball is going to go. And we have seen a lot of different players step up that we were kind of, slightly criticizing earlier in the year, Zach, especially a certain group of tight ends really struggling early in the year. And you can definitely see a lot of them not only growing, but doing a lot better. But it was an impressive overall team win. Not a perfect win, and a lot of things that I feel like if we're going to make a deep run, you got to get fixed. Do you want to go over the positives first or negatives first?
Let's definitely talk about the positive.
Okay.
Let's talk about the positive because I think there's so much positive here. Mm-hmm. There's one big negative, which we'll really talk about, and then things that are just going to need to be fixed up along the way. Yeah. Let's talk with probably the big powerhouse this week was our offense. Usually it's been our defensive play, but I really think our offensive just really stood out. Obviously, with the commanding lead of Matthew Stafford, he was 24 of 32. He threw 4 touchdowns, 281 yards.
That no-looker, Devontae.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. He's truly playing probably one of the best football that he's had over the years. I was kind of looking through his stats, and we're week 8 or week 9, and halfway through the season, and he's already looking to match his best records that he's had, both as a Ram in 2021 in the Super Bowl season, and then one of the years when he was in the Lions, scoring 21 touchdowns already, leading the league. His highest was 41. He's done that twice. So we'll see if he can either match that or succeed that moving forward. But he's just getting better each and every week.
I think he has more TDs this year than he did last year.
If not, it's very close. I think I was looking at him, and I think it was somewhere in the low 20s. So that would make sense. I mean, shoot, the first half of the season, he wasn't throwing TDs. In the last week, he's thrown 9.
Well,
So just
back-to-back games with 4 or more TDs where he hasn't thrown a pick. First time he's done that in his career. So,
I mean, he only had 2 picks on the season so far. So 8 games and only 2 picks. I mean, it's
what was the other one? You had the one where he threw it straight to Zach Bond because he didn't see him. What was the other one? I'm trying to remember what game
that
that
is
was.
a good
49ers?
question.
Sounds like a
It
49ers thing.
it might have been the 49ers. I know that actually it was not. Oh, hold on, passing. Oh, sorry. I was trying to look that up while we're talking.
Mhm.
I'll find that out. But
But either way, it is very impressive what he is doing. The amount, his capability of being able to misdirect people with his eyes, moving safeties, moving cornerbacks, and just the ability of Devontae and Puka to be able to slice up these defenses. You get a lot of that just by this very impressive scheme that McVay has kind of unveiled in the last 2 weeks. And you can't have this scheme be as successful, Zach, without these tight ends being able to play a pseudo wide receivers, linemen, and same thing with the wide receivers being able to block and being able to run routes at a high rate. And I think Ferguson is going to get only more and more critical being able, because he's basically like a wide receiver at tight end. And just being able to mix and match those looks, get defenses in 13 personnel defensive packages, but run 11 personnel route combination. It is really diabolical stuff. And there's a few like film breakdowns you can go out on YouTube and watch. And it's really nasty, especially how he's using motion to open up holes in the run game. It's a lot of nasty stuff to watch what McVay's doing out there.
it's great. I mean, them really utilizing the tight ends. I mean, the tight ends took about 20%, I think, of the total catches of the game. All 4 were utilized. Ferguson had 2 catches for 54 yards. Davis Allen had 3 catches for 37 yards. Higbee had 3 catches, only 13 yards, but he did get that easy, beautiful touchdown that
Mhm.
started off everything going down. And then Colby Parkinson had just 2 catches for 10 yards. But the way that they're able to scheme up, they're able to hide and they're able to deceive and they're able to bring more people in and
Yeah.
diversify who Matthew Stafford can throw to. And yes, his big targets are going to be Puka Nacua. Obviously, Matthew Stafford has that one person, but seeing him open up to so many players in one game is really a testament to what Stafford and McVay are scheming up.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing how you can see a 12 personnel or 13 personnel package come out, but yet we're running these insane combinations that a lot of defenses just aren't expecting, and everything looks the same. So it is really confusing defenses and getting some of our guys like wide open. You don't have to be that good, Zach, if you just run the route and like no defenders near you because they thought it was going to be a run to left, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, and we were all thinking that who's going to step up with Tutu being out and things like that, but he threw to more tight ends than he did wide receivers.
well, X
Puka,
did a solid
Devontae,
job.
and X. Well, I'm not saying he
Mhm.
didn't. I'm just saying like they're diversifying into like utilizing their tight ends a lot more. When you're throwing to you have 4 tight ends, you threw at least a pass to each one, at least 2 passes to each one of them. But as far as your wide receiver roster, which we have said is pretty deep with Whittington, obviously X with Mumfield and all them, but they only got 3 wide receivers actually caught a reception. So I just think that's an interesting note to bring out.
Yeah, also just seeing how Devontae was able to continue that chemistry in the red zone with Stafford. That's a big thing for the future. We want to keep on seeing that grow a little bit more and more. What do you make of it? Because we have to be honest, the Saints, we know what the Saints are, right? They're not a great team, but they have been feisty in a decent amount of games. And so the question was, can the Rams kind of get past that defensive front, which is a little underrated. They're not the best thing in the world, but they can get pressure, and they got some pressure on Stafford. So how do you think the offensive line did with kind of keeping Stafford clean?
Yeah, I mean, they did let 2 sacks in, which is kind of, you never want that. But for the most part, they kept it clean. I mean, obviously, you can't score 34 points without having some sort of a clean pocket. So I think they did a really good job keeping him clean outside of a few of those things. Stafford, he's not a spring chicken, but he was still able to do some moves to get out of bad situations. He even tried to block for Corum at one of the points of the game. So I thought that was a good thing. But overall, I think the offensive line played well. Obviously, I think I would have to go back and check. But I think Havenstein, I don't know, had the best game. Yeah, he was rated at a 62.8 in PFF. So him and Steve Avila, I think, kind of struggled maybe a little bit, giving up some pressures. But yeah, I think that overall they did a good job. I mean, again, you can't score 34 points without having a pretty good offensive line playing well. So that's what they did. You still with me?
I am. I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera. So
no worries.
Dying on me.
But kind of I want to kind of talk real quick about Puka Nacua. I mean, he came back into this game. He almost had another 100-yard plus game. Obviously, he went out kind of early in the second half, I believe, with a rib injury. I think if they needed him to play, he would have played. But because they had such a dominant lead in the second half, that there was no reason to put him in any more harm's way. He is going to go back in for scans. I think the last thing we heard was McVay said that he's optimistic that Puka will be good to go against the 49ers, which they will need him for this game.
Yeah, I personally don't understand the people, especially the Rams fans, who try to say Puka is not good. I don't understand it. He's physical. He can run good routes. He's great against man. He can read zones. He's really good against zone. And that catch for a touchdown, what a dime by Stafford. But, that was not an easy catch. So you have to have good chemistry, and he's just all around a really great wide receiver, the best wide receiver we have seen in the McVay era, in my opinion. And that's not an easy task. And I just don't understand the negativity some people have around him. So
yeah, I mean, again, he's very explosive. He's very dynamic. He's able to catch almost any ball you can think of. He truly is Cooper Kupp 2.0. He is really a more built version of Cooper Kupp. And when you have a Cooper Kupp who's a Triple Crown winner, and you have a 2.0 version of him, holy crap, the league needs to be on notice with this guy. He's tough. He's competitive. He's everything you want in a quarterback or in a wide receiver. He gives everything on the field. He's he seems like a morally good guy. No drama really. He is a guy who puts in the work, and it really shows on the field.
Yeah, he's like, when he catches ball, he's like a running back. He really does look like a running back running, and it's
hard to stop him.
Yeah, was it a fourth down when we gave the ball to him on like a kind of like a fly sweep, like a quick little handoff? I love doing stuff like that with him, just because his ability. Like, I'm so confident in him being able to go through, especially DBs, and get the first down 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, no, he's super hard to take down. It was just impressive to watch him. And, obviously the Rams, I think, could scheme up if he's not there for a game. They did that with Jacksonville. But for this team to really be a true threat to some of these other teams that we're going to be seeing down the line, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Bucks, we're going to have to play the best ball that we have. And having Puka on the field is going to give us that best chance to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about real quick before we swap over to the defense. Let's talk about the running backs real quick. Decent game
Yeah.
from both of them. Kyron Williams had 25 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown. Blake Corum, 13 carries, 58 yards. He had a breakout of a long of 21. I'll kick it over to you in just a second, but I think I said this kind of tweeting from our accounts this week, but this is our version of what Detroit has as far as a Sonic and a Knuckles. I think we do them in the reverse a little bit. I think we use more Knuckles than we do Sonic, and I think the Lions use a little bit more Sonic than they do Knuckles. And to each their own. I think they're both good players, but I saw what I've been wanting to see from both players. I wanted to see Kyron push through, able to handle the football and get the yardage when we needed it the most. But I loved seeing Blake Corum go out there and be able to make those big explosive plays and be able to avoid some potential pitfalls. I mean, the one where Stafford kind of went in to block him, he really did like a 180 and couldn't get in, almost got sacked, but B was able to make it and go around and gain positive yards instead of being losing us yards. So really impressed by that 1-2 punch that we have. I want them to keep utilizing it, keep using them in situationals, try to stop just doing the series runs, because I think each one of them brings a different scheme to a drive. So overall, very happy with how our rushing team played.
Yeah, you said it very well. They both had really good games, really impressive runs by both of them. I love seeing Kyron. Anytime someone's near the ball remotely, he even hears someone, he just instantly covers up. But love it. Love to see that. I'd rather him go down a yard or two short outside of fourth downs, a yard or two shorter than he would have got, and not kind of cough up the ball. So really good by both of them. Good runs. Corm felt very electric at different times. I wouldn't put it as Sonic and Knuckles are on. I would say it's more Mario Luigi. They're both kind of the exact same person, just slight differences.
Feels
But
like a downgrade. Like, who wants to be called
that's
Mario
like
and Luigi?
they get the job. They get the job done. What do you mean? They always get the princess. Okay, right? They always get saved. Like exactly same. Uh, no, it's
Sonic and
it's
Knuckles
good.
are both also very similar. One's more physical and one's more speedster. They both can run fast. Just one can run faster than the other.
I mean, so the good
Join us on our
thing.
next podcast on the Nintendo podcast.
Yeah, the Nintendo podcast. Totally not like Zelda and Link. I will kind of say we have seen a lot of stack boxes, so I think a lot of the averages and the efficiency of Kyron, I haven't really had a big issue with. It's been kind of everything else and the lack of explosiveness. But we saw with Corum, a good amount of explosiveness. It was really truly impressive. He should have lost 2 or 3 yards on that play, but he turned it into a gain and he went all the way. He must have ran maybe like 20 yards in that one play. And that matters because statistically, every yard you gain, the chances of converting on third down go up a decent amount. So it really does keep the playbook open, keeps us on pace. And this offense, this is the other thing, credit to the run game. I think the Rams gave the Saints the 12th least amount of time ever, like having the ball on offense in history, NFL history. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. When I think in the third quarter, the Saints only had the ball 3 times in an entire quarter. Zach, could you imagine only seeing 3 Rams plays in the entire quarter? Be so boring.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, we've seen that. I feel
Not
like
good.
before with the Rams, where they have not had the ball for very long because As great as our defense is, and as much as they hold people from scoring, but they're able to drive the ball down, and whether they score a field goal or they are able to stop them in the red zone area, that's the one I think weakness probably of our defense is sometimes we don't get the quick 3 and outs. We get the long drives and preventative points kind of stature.
Well, I would say we're either or. We either get a 3 or out, or we let them drive to the red zone. And normally it's third quarter. I feel like third quarter, our defense has really struggled at like stopping adjustments of different teams for the most part. You've seen a lot of teams kind of like get a little bit hotter in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot better this week for sure about containing the ball and not letting them drive down. I mean, they only had a total of 224 yards. You were absolutely right with this. The possession time, Rams had it for 43 minutes, almost 44 minutes, and the Saints only had the ball for 16 total minutes. So definitely not good for the Saints. Definitely fantastic for the Rams. But let's switch it over to the defense where, again, I think the defense played well. I kind of was hoping they would get a couple more sacks in there. But again, like you said, the Saints didn't really have the possession long enough to get the sacks. So they did a great job.
What do you make of Tyler Shuck? It is pronounced Shuck, apparently.
Tyler Shuck?
Shuck, that's how people were pronouncing it.
I don't know. What is your thoughts of him?
I mean, I don't see the difference between him and Rattler, to be honest.
No, I don't either. I mean, shoot. They brought in what's his name?
Taysom Hill.
Yeah. But they brought him in. I'm like, he's still on the team doing this weird quarterback, running back, wide receiver role thing. Like, God almighty, I feel like the Saints have had this guy for like 10 years and we still doing the same weird shenanigans.
It works for him sometimes.
For like 2 plays, and they're like, okay, yeah, this isn't happening anymore. Like, and then that's it.
I thought the offense would have been better under him than Chuck, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he was 15 for 24, 176 yards. It was his first game. Obviously, and we kind of talked about this last week where it was like, this is not the game that you want to bring in your rookie quarterback. Like, can you pick any other team to go up against to give him a little bit of confidence?
He had a few decent throws. Like, I'll give him credit. He didn't look atrocious. Like, he could have looked a lot worse. Like, he still got yardage. And when they got stopped and the fumble wasn't his fault, I didn't think he did a bad job necessarily. But they didn't have any running game, and it was just all on his arm. And, I mean, Olave's a really good wide receiver. Shaheed is a really good wide receiver. But you could tell we were just bracketing our coverages on those 2 guys and saying, like, beat us through the air.
It's really not good when Taysom Hill is your number 1 rusher. We kept Kamara off of 1 play. Yeah, we left Kamara with 14 yards total. His longest was 3. So they really had nothing going for them at all. Rashid Shaheed was probably their best player with 5 receptions for 68 yards.
Fox was cooking in this game. Or Fisk, not Fox.
Fisk. I mean, he finally came out of the woodworks. It felt like after kind of what seemed to be kind of a drought for him, got the only sack for the Rams. So kudos to him. Forbes, with his first interception. So kudos to him for coming out, playing a really good game.
He had a few big tackles too. Let's just focus on Forbes for a second.
Yeah.
Because we have, and rightly so, people are giving him a hard time, especially people in the fan base. And he's had some bad plays. Don't get me wrong. But I think I made this point earlier in the season. He wasn't meant to be a cornerback 1. for this team. So I feel like people need to understand he's a role player. He's not supposed to be a cornerback one. We didn't draft him in the first round. We didn't pick him up for that. Now, potentially he could grow into that. Both me and you would be thrilled for that, Zach. But right now, I felt like people kind of judged him slightly higher than they should. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't expect the best out of him. And this was arguably one of his best games of his career. He had great tackling, had a critical stop on, I believe, 3rd and short. Impressive stuff from third year man. So I'm happy with his game. And who were you about to bring up? Lake?
No, I think Cam Kitchens. He was the one who was
Yeah.
able to secure the fumble. Was it Landman who punched it out again? Or did Cam Kitchens? Yeah, Landman punched it out, and Cam Kitchens was able to snap on it. So again, I think the defense didn't have to play a whole lot because they were able to kind of get the Saints off the field, but they just came out and had another dominant performance. So it's a big kudos to them. Anything else you want to say about the defense before we move on to the elephant in the room?
I would say for the most part, like they were flying around, and it's not a perfect defense, but man, they're on top of the kind of like stats for everything defensively, pressures, sacks, outside of interceptions, which has been kind of like the biggest thing. We haven't gotten a lot of like mass takeaway games. We get one or so every game. But they apply pressure and they get 3 and outs a good consistently amount of time. And this front 7 is just nasty in the depth. Like Tyler Davis has been playing really good games. And I know he doesn't get the stat sheets, but like him and Fox have been really good the last 2 or 3 games. And you don't see it in sacks, but they do the dirty work in the run games. And we faced a really tough gauntlet, and I know Kamara he's gotten a little bit older, so he's not as elite as he once used to be. But previous weeks outside Derrick Henry on one drive, they have been really good, and that was our biggest concern coming into the season. And, got to give credit where credit's due. They've really improved, and big part of that is that defensive front being very improved, and the linebackers and Landman and Spates also had a pretty big play.
Yeah, too. For sure. I think it's worthy to note that, the defense played with only 2 cornerbacks on the field at one time. Basically,
they rotated safeties down.
Yeah. So heavily safeties were playing the game, but even with not being able to have Darius Williams out there, they only played with only 2 cornerbacks the whole time. Roger McCreary, obviously, he's new to the team, didn't play a single snap this week. Still trying to probably get his feet wet with all the plays and everything in the Shula system. So we probably should see him come into play probably here in the 49ers game. But they're probably going to, give him time to understand the playbook a little bit.
Yeah, looking forward to see what he does and where they put him. That's going to be kind of the fascinating spot. And I know we talked about that a little bit last pod. So see if they put him in the slot or not.
I just thought it was interesting, that you had Quentin Lake, Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes, and Cam Curl played 100% of all defensive snaps. So very, very interesting to note with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready to talk about it? Ready to talk about it? Are you ready to talk about it?
Me and you, we love these conversations because 2022 was such a fun year, Zach. I love talking kicking game. It is thrilling, especially unlike 22. We have a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah, and it's not just the kicking; it's special teams as a whole. It's atrocious. It's bad. It's ugly. It makes you want to vomit. It's the reason why we've lost 2 games.
Primary reason. Yeah.
Primary reason why we lost 2 games. And now even McVay is coming out saying this is unacceptable, basically. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed now. We shouldn't be worrying about special teams. We should not be worrying about special teams.
Zach, if you had if you had to put your life savings on if I told you the Rams are going to lose a playoff game this year, if you had to put your life savings on the reason they lost that game, what would you say it's because?
Well, it's because of our special teams.
It
is. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad from front to back. It's bad.
So we can touch on Cardi because you brought him up real quickly. We can kind of touch on him because I agree with you somewhat. We don't know if Cardi is a part of the problem or not. I think that the coaching staff knows that more in practices when he's not getting pressured and consistently kicking without this pressure. Now, it's not indicative of how games will go. So you don't know, in theory, if you could replace Cardi with, Brandon Aubrey from the Cowboys. If Aubrey would also be missing kicks too because of the pressure and the lack of time or the amount of just the mechanics of the kick are so terrible right now. Zach, we don't know how much he's impacted or not impacted. He could be a part of the problem. And we just don't know that, right?
I love a good Cardi party. I think we all love a good Cardi party. I think he is a talented kicker. Anytime I've seen him warm up pregame, I think that he has the leg. He has the skill set. Obviously, we see him do the knuckleball. He's really good at doing the knuckleball. I don't know really what the problem is. You kind of look at yesterday's game on the missed field goal and the extra point. You could say that the laces were faced in, which, typically they're not. You could also say that the other one was nearly blocked and maybe he self-corrected. He rather missed the ball. He rather missed the extra point than
it probably would have been blocked.
It probably would have been. But let's say it got blocked and they picked it up and took it down the field. Like, again, maybe he's just tired of it being blocked. And so he rather it missed than because it was wide and it kind of looked like he kind of corrected himself a little bit to make it go wide.
That was probably a coaching adjustment, which if that's a coaching adjustment, that's kind of scary that they're prepping their kicker for missed blocking assignments.
And that is atrocious.
And it's not like once in a blue moon, because you'll have something like that like once a season, I would say typically. This is happening every game, Zach, and it is. And McVay did address it and said it's unacceptable and it'll change. We got told it was going to change after week 3, so.
Yeah, and I don't see. Here's the thing: I don't see McVay firing a coach right now. I don't see him firing Blackburn, but something has to change. I mean, their eyes are you have to either fix the coaching, so Blackburn, you have to fix Cardi, or you're going to have to fix the long snapper, or you're going to have to fix Ethan Evans.
It's not the long snapper. You haven't had high snaps. The snaps have been on time. Like. I really don't think it's long snapper problems with him because we had the same long snapper last year and we didn't have these issues.
Right. I mean, again, like, do you blame Ethan Evans for his holding the ball? Do you blame?
No,
because the holding the ball. If he's not putting the laces where it should, that is on the holder. But constantly, we're seeing the defense be able to break through that line and get to Cardi. And that is the problem, whether it's to the outside or whether it's through the inside. They've done it both ways and have been successful at it.
So the protection has been atrocious. It has been the worst of the McVay era protection wise. Not
And
even close.
it goes to the same thing with when we kick the ball away and we're trying to stop the other team from getting the ball. Like we can't do that either. Like we're it's every part of special teams, whether it's the kicking side of it or the protection of a punting
Well,
side of
our
it.
kickoffs are let's just note our kickoffs have been great because the average starting area of opponent teams has been really good for us in comparison. So the kickoffs have been good. Everything else has been kind of a nightmare. We've had one maybe good punt returns. I don't necessarily
But
blame X a lot of that, but we have seen this now 2 years in a row where I think we're kind of lucky we have X just because if we had a worse punt returner, because these punt coverages are nasty and not good, and especially against like good special um, teams, we struggle at my league to get out of the 20-yard line.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you about the kickoffs. I think the kickoffs, the only reason why we're so successful is because of that kind of knuckleball that Cardi's able to do. But otherwise, I agree with you. It's atrocious from A to Z. It has to be fixed. They need to get better. It's the one reason why this team is not playing. Doesn't feel like it's firing at all cylinders. It's making us feel like the offense has to stay on the field every fourth down in any
McVay
type of.
McVay went for it instead of kicking a 40-yard field goal. That's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
And
That
McVay's they
especially
did that.
fourth and medium. That's not good, Zach.
They did that a couple weeks ago when Puka Nacua had to come up and say,
Niners. Yeah,
we're not losing. Like we are going to take this upon ourselves. We're not going to let anybody else do this. And he was referring to the special teams because they have to be the ones scoring the points. Their 3 points aren't guaranteed anymore. Usually be able to say that you have a 98% chance of scoring a field goal from any distance under 50. Now we're best if we can do 30%, it feels like.
Zach, you know it's bad when we line up to kick a 25-yarder and you're like, I don't know if he's going to make it. That's really not good for an NFL kicking unit. When other guys, like I'll turn on a game and seeing a guy effortlessly kick a 65-yarder.
Well, look at Jacksonville. Didn't he? Or was it Jacksonville or was it the Raiders? Which one of them? They scored a 68-yarder.
Cam Little. Yeah. He missed a 30-yarder against us, but hit a 68-yarder. So I was like,
you know, it's crazy where some of these teams can just do this, and it's just like, oh yeah, he can do it. And again, like I watched Cardi warm up. Like I've seen him warm up pregame, and he's really on it, it feels like. So I don't know if it seems to be more of the protection issue, maybe the ball placement issue, than it is Cardi himself. But only time will tell, and only Sean McVay knows, and he's the one who has to make the end of the day, make the call.
Did Evans even punt this game? Did he punt?
I think he did
remember him punting. Did he punt?
Punting. He punted twice.
Okay.
50 yards.
He earned that paycheck, Zach.
He did.
That paycheck.
Well, it depends. I mean, he also messed up on that hold. So the laces, the laces have to be a certain way. Anyways, I don't know what the problem is. It's really hard to figure out. Is it a Cardi problem? Is it a...
Well, we don't know, like, we don't exactly know from the coaching point of view, like, the protection schemes and how exactly certain people are supposed to hold up or not. So it's hard for us from the outside looking in to be able to fully analyze the issue. But me and you can see there's definitely an issue. A lot of fans
issues
too.
Yeah.
So
he did score 4 other extra points. We'll give him some credit that they were able to score 4 points. But
that's,
oof.
I mean,
that was bad. That's bad. I mean, his field goal percentage is 66.7, tied 37th. Do you know how many teams there are in the NFL?
Zach,
There is not more than 32, and he's
Zach,
tied for 37th.
you just think about it. You just had to brag that our kicker kicked 4 extra points in a row.
I will say, can I go on more? Extra point percentage, 88.5. That's his extra point percentage. Tied 35th. Again, how many teams are there in the NFL? His longest is 51. Do you know what that's ranked? 32nd. Yes, there are 32 teams in the NFL still. Points, he's tied for 23rd. Whoopity-doo. He finally made it into the... Again, and this is not saying this is all on him. A lot of this also is the protection. It's a lot of things that are involved in this. But that is
I just don't
not
see how we
good.
continue. Again, I hate calling for people to lose their job, but I don't see how this can continue. It's not like Zach. We have a coordinator that, like, when he came in, we had the 15th best special teams, like, average, and then we had 10th or 9th, and they were pretty good, very good, and then this year they just happened to be bad. No, we had a historically bad unit 3 years ago, and then, or 2 years ago, and then last year they were average, and then this year they're terrible again. So if they're not historically terrible, if we keep this up, we'll probably have a historically terrible kicking unit. So I don't know. I just think there needs to be some accountability there. And I know it's crazy to say change it mid-season, but it's going to cost us games. It will happen.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just inevitable. It's costed us games already. I know McVay said all of this in his presser.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, there's no safe zone. He's missed from between 20 and 30. He's missed between 30 and 40. He's missed between 40 and 50, and he's missed over 50. Like, the only thing he hasn't tried is under 20, and that's just they rather tried to score a touchdown in the under 20 at on 4th down than they would with him. So again, and this is, I want to be fair when I'm saying all these stats are he gets penalized for these stats, whether it's a protection problem or not. Just like Stafford, if it's a someone dropped a ball and it gets into somebody else's hands, it's an interception. Like, they get count against you whether it was your fault or not. And I get that. And I still have faith in Cardi itself. I want to see some different protection. I want to see what he looks like, without, all of these other issues that are happening around him that are clearly happening.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on
happen.
Cardi. I'm not going to comment on Cardi because I just don't know, like, if he's been good or not. So,
but
I can't give him a fair shake. Like, the coaching staff knows, and I'm sure they will make adjustments if they have to.
They have to. There isn't if they have to. They have to.
No, I meant with the kicker specifically.
Right. I know. But they have to. They have to do something. They have to do something.
Hopefully.
So, they got a week to decide. So,
what the kicking unit needs more of? Needs more Troy Reader, Zach.
Yes, more Troy.
I'm sorry, random strays. I'm sorry. We love you, okay. Troy.
We do love you.
We love you.
To all the Troys out there, we heart you. Okay, so we talked about the good. We had to talk about the bad. They're really, and that was also the ugly. So we talked about it all. Yeah. Otherwise, this was a great win. This team is in the right direction. The offense is exploding at the right time. We got our first win in November. let's punch it all the way through.
Yeah. We're coming into a really important stretch. And conference games, especially in division, are going to be hugely important. We're already a game behind the Eagles for the 1 seed. So, but we have to get job done. We have to really beat the 49ers if we want a chance to win division, because if you lose that game, a lot has to go against the 49ers for us to win the division, right?
Well,
And
and
we
shoot,
have
it
to
feels
beat
like a
Seattle.
lot. It feels like a lot has gone against the 49ers. And if we still can't beat them, that's even more of a problem.
Yeah, and it's really going to be the first team to get to, I think it's going to take 5 division wins, potentially 4, depending on how Seattle does against the Niners. But it's going to take 4 or 5 in division wins, and we already have a loss. So got to beat 49ers and have to beat the Seahawks, and they're going to be hard teams to beat. So
Yeah, I mean, and we won our first NFC game against the Saints, and we just have basically a lot to go left to if we want to be in that top tier, top seeded spot. Starts off with the 49ers. We got 3 NFC games back to back to back. Before then, we move on.
NFC West, or no, we played Cardinals later. So okay,
Yeah, so 3 NFC teams: the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Bucks. So those are our next 3 games. We plan to do a preview episode on the 49ers, so we'll talk more about that next week. But, we just faced them a couple weeks ago. They were injury-ridden then. They're a little healthier, but also a little bit more banged up as well. So we'll see what the
they're
Rams
worse
have.
on the offensive or on the defensive side now than they were when we faced them, but slightly more healthy on the offensive side.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, we are the favored team, which is very surprising. Going into Levi Stadium, see how things play out.
Gotta pull it out. It's very important if the team wants number 1 seed aspirations, because it's going to be a big swing. If we lose this game, then we're talking about, you can count number 1 seed goodbye. You can count maybe number 2 seed goodbye, and then you're really fighting for winning the division. You basically have to hope the 49ers collapse for the rest of the year.
Yeah. These next 2 games, I mean, really, these next 3 games are going to be super important for the NFC race, especially the NFC West race for the next 2. But the Rams have to stand up now. They have to figure it out. They're going to have to scheme hard against Shanahan. They're going to have to make sure they put on full pressure for Sam Darnold. It's going to be an interesting time. But if any team can do it, it's going to be this Rams team. They have the weapons. They have Stafford. They have Puka. They have Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. They got the gauntlet. Now they just need to put it all together and just make sure that special teams doesn't step on their own feet.
Yeah, and there's not going to be a lot of easy games coming up for the rest of the schedule. Panthers have looked Jekyll and Hyde-ish, but you got to expect you're going to get everyone's best. But I wouldn't have it any other way, Zach. I want this team battle tested when they go in the playoffs, because if you're not battle tested when you go through adversity, it makes it a lot harder to come out on the other side with the win. And I feel like this team can definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird week as far as other teams go. You look at it, and Baltimore came back, and with Lamar Jackson, they played elite. Arizona's right now crushing the Cowboys. You had Pittsburgh take down the Indianapolis Colts. I thought it was going to be like looking at the Monday games or the Sunday morning games. I really thought like, oh man, this doesn't look good for the Rams, because all these teams were just coming out of the woodwork. The Bears dominated the Bengals. The Vikings took down the Lions. Panthers, as you mentioned, took down Green Bay. Like there was just a lot happening this week, and this is going to be a tough year for all teams. So you can't count the Falcons out. You can't count Carolina out. Bucks are doing their thing, and then we still have the rest of the NFC West to deal with. So it's going to be an interesting year, but this team has what it takes to beat that team 100%. This is not the team, that we saw in 2022. This isn't the team we saw even last year. I think this team is better than what we saw last year.
Oh, real quickly, do we want to touch on the trade deadline and do you want to touch on that, or you got any opinions?
That is a good point. Yes, we didn't talk about that. That ends tomorrow, right?
Either tonight or tomorrow, Wednesday night. Yeah, it's Wednesday night.
Yeah. So, the Rams. At least Sean McVay says he plans on making no moves. That's what he said. Whether we believe him or not, that's up to you. Just kind of makes it seem like they're not gonna move the needle. I think you looked at some of the stuff that happened over the weekend where the Rams were in talks for calling out to the Bengals, but I think Trey Hendrickson is costing way too much, and the Rams don't want to bet their future on a player like that.
Oh, I don't think they were actually asking about Hendrickson. I think it was more for a cornerback, to be honest, because she kind of grouped up a bunch of Bengal players in that kind of tweet. So that's kind of where that was going. I was more like, personally, I'm really hoping we add a wide receiver. I really do think either, and we saw it this last game, Shaheed would be very valuable to the offense. And then also Waddle would be very valuable to the offense. And I personally, Zach, would rather have a Super Bowl than 2 first-round picks, personally. I know some people disagree with that. I don't think the front office is going to really move and do anything, but I can hope, and if they can get a deal for Waddle that makes sense, that doesn't give up first, that would be even better. But I really do think people underestimate how much adding a talent like Waddle would do for this Rams offense and kind of push it to an even higher level.
I don't disagree with you. In my opinion, I feel like this team is very analytical. And so they do a more of a high risk, like a risk reward kind of scenario. And I think they look at the future and they look at the present, and they see what's the percentage it's going to take to get to the Super Bowl. And can this X player boost that chance? And is it worth that future first? And I do think that Les Snead, while he's not afraid, obviously, to F them picks, I do think that he is cautious in a way that he's not going to throw away that pick if he's not more certain this is going to get him to a Super Bowl. Right now, they're struggling in one of the easier areas of special teams. And if you can't be guaranteed, again, obviously nothing's guaranteed. And so I think it's going to be a risk, kind of a what's the least amount of risk for both the present and the future.
I just personally think you're going to end up using one of those first round picks anyways, just because of how this QB class has kind of turned out in college football. You're going to use that second pick probably for a wide receiver, the backfield Devontae, most likely anyways. So why not try to get someone who's proven they can play in the NFL, can help you this season, someone who's as dynamic as Waddle and who can finally not have to worry about being in kind of very much a similar scheme or in a similar position behind Hill. So he could definitely play a different position for us. And same thing, I would also like Shaheed too, and he would be a lot cheaper. So there are options out there that you could go that are not exactly first or second rounder like Waddle would be. But Alec stated a good he would want Asante Samuel. Apparently, he passed some physical, and that was kind of big news later tonight. And I wouldn't disagree with that. he didn't play great with the Chargers, but he wasn't terrible. He would be good depth. I'm pretty sure he played mostly outside on Chargers, but I can't remember 100%. They might have moved him in the slot, but there's a reason why he's not on the NFL team right now, because he did have his struggles when he was with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with you, Alec, about Rattler. Personally, I don't understand why they benched him. I get he had like issues turning the ball over. They still turned the ball over twice against us without him starting. I don't think he was the main issue. He is a top-notch backup quarterback. Rattler is. I really do believe that. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter, but he's not terrible. So, some people might disagree with that. And he also asked AJ Green or Sante for you. Do you have preference?
No, I don't think I have a preference. I kind of like AJ Green a little bit more, but I would be fine either way.
And he knows the system, so like that's going to be other issue. Him coming in, I know he kind of played under Staley, so I don't know how much of that would translate. Maybe it would be easier transition than we would give it credit for, but yeah, it would take him some time to get onboarded.
And I did look. So the trade deadline is 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Tuesday, November 4th.
I don't disagree, Alec, giving him a shot, especially because he'll be like vet minimum, and I'm not against giving him a shot. Especially we don't have an all-world beater like depth of cornerback at all, so I'm fine. Especially if we wanted to sign him to practice squad, I'm all for doing that and seeing like what you have there. I just don't think the coaching staff is going to be very much wanting to put him actively on the field as a starter without some weeks under his belt. So maybe for a playoff push, if he's playing good in practice and stuff, then yeah. So, but I don't know. I think there are teams in a worse situation that are more likely to throw money at him than we are. We're not in a great situation, but we're not in a dire situation, especially given quarterbacks having to throw a lot quicker against us than other teams.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, that was a fun, entertaining episode. I hope everyone who is watching us live has enjoyed it. If you're not watching the live, you can always catch us on demand on youtube.com/@EastCoastRams. And please make sure you guys like and subscribe to this podcast. It would mean the world. We got 25. We need 25 more subscribers to hit our next level. So you could do that, youtube.com/@EastCoastRams. You can also find us live on X. That's where we also stream this. Plus, that's where we're pretty heavily in our social media presence, where that you can connect with us. You can find us at East Coast Rams. We're also on Instagram and Threads at East Coast Rams Pod, and then we're also on Blue Sky. So search for East Coast Rams on Blue Sky. Ashton, anything else you want to say before we wrap up this episode?
We got to give love to some of our audio-owned listeners. We appreciate you guys too listening to on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and some Google Podcasts. We appreciate everyone that tunes in. We do this for the love of the team and for you guys, and try our best to be as informative and not silly. Sometimes I make some bad jokes here and there, but we try to be informative and kind of go through bad games and blow off steam, but also during good games give off our opinions, honest, non-biased, and tell it how it is, Zach.
For sure. Appreciate everyone who also joined us also in our chat. Alec, past or present, we appreciate everyone who comes and just kind of hangs out with us. We love being able to do this each and every week with y'all. We're coming up close to the Carolina game. Are you definitely planning on attending that game?
Depends on the government shutdown because I am a federal contractor. So if I have a job, yes.
Yeah, for sure. I should be there as well. We got some interesting things happening also in Indiana. But yeah, we are the plan. The plan is to take my son to his first NFL game to see the Rams play. So super excited about that. So yeah, if you guys are planning on going to Carolina, that is the best opportunity that you might be able to see both of us at a game.
Zach, do you happen to know, does your win percentage of seeing Rams games, does that get inherited by the kid? Do we know that?
We are not inheriting any. He's not going to inherit anything. We need him to have a good, fresh start. Hopefully, yeah, we're definitely going to do this. I found this. We're not sponsored by this company at all, but there's a cool app called Memento, where you're able to kind of like track all of your the
attendance and your win-loss record.
Yeah, it shows all that on top of, if you go to concerts and things like that, you can insert pictures into kind of like these segmented things. So, hey, Memento, if you want to sponsor us, feel free, reach out to us. But it's a really cool app. I like it. I've been playing around with it a lot. I was trying to see if I could pull up my record, but I don't know why I can't do that really easily. But anyways, oh wait, here it is. Yeah, so right now I'm 3-6. Is that right? I think that's wrong, but close enough. I'm about 50. I'm not looking good.
It's fine. I hope to go to 6-0 when we go to the Panthers game.
I totally understand you. Though I brainwashed my wife. She was a Colts fan. I brainwashed her. But my kids, they're kind of starting to get a little funky. My oldest daughter also likes the Eagles for whatever reason. My son likes to ridicule me and says he's also a part-time Bengals fan too. No. So, I understand. I understand for sure.
Yeah, my brother-in-law announced they're gonna end up having a kid, so I'm planning on trying to sew some Ram stuff in there and some of the baby gifts. Just putting it out there. Uncle is a big Rams fan. You can be too.
That's right. I see. Yep, for sure. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this week. We will hopefully catch you again sometime this week when we break down the preview of the Rams 49ers game at Levi Stadium on November 9th. So make sure you smash that notification bell so that you guys know when the next episode arrives. And we will see you guys next time. Whose house? LA Rams house. See you guys.